From the SharePrices.com.au studios, I'm CJ Dore with another market insight, and what we're looking at this time is our 100% gainers year to date. So companies that have grown share value in excess of 100% at least over the last year, February to February. Let's get underway with our top 10 from 10 to 6. And again, these are all big companies. You should know these ones. Let's have a look at the top here and what we're looking at for a date range. We've got February 5 last year through to February 3 this year. So that's the close of play Friday last week. Let's start with Downer, $3.16 they were at, up to $6.68, 111%, all green on this column, of course, all good news. And have a look at this here. This is interesting. When was their high within this date range? Well, they got up to $6.89, and when? February 2nd. So that's the closest to where we are now out of all of these guys. But the good news, and what that indicates, is they're actually on a charge in recent times. Let's now go to number 9, and we've got Webjet, 485 up to 1142. Now we're moving up into the 130% range as far as gains. What about their high? We're into the $12 even. When was it? October 20. So they have fallen away a little bit since then, but keep that 12 in mind should they look to get back to that. That's your goal. Now let's have a look here at BlueScope, 451 up to 10.73, again the 130% odd range, just over $11.50 was their high. When was that? It was January 27. So again, this side of the new year and good times ahead, hopefully if they can get back up over $11.50. Let's go to South 32, $1.14 to $2.72, again the 130 odd percent range. $3 even was their high. Keep that in mind as a figure to get back to if they can keep charging. December 8, so they have come back a little bit. So that surely is the goal, is that $3 range for South 32. And finally, to round out this group of 5, we've got Worley Parsons. Let's have a look this time last year at $3.34, right up, good gains, $9.74. Now we're starting to really kick on, 190 odd percent. And the high within that range, we're looking at $10.31. When was it? Also this side of the new year, and that was in January. Now let's move on to some more big names. You should know these. Let's have a look finally at our 5 to 1, and we're going to save number 1 to last as a bit of a surprise. Let's have a look at Mineral Resources, $4.04 up to $12.60. Now look at these gains. We're up in excess of 200%, $2.11 for these guys. $13.43 was their high. When was it? It was November of last year. Again, just come back a little bit since then, but keep that in mind. The $13 range, if they're really going to kick on, is what you want to see. Let's have a look at Galaxy. This is the smallest price of all of these stocks. Sometimes it can be easy for them to kick on, have big gains at that, but they've done it consistently and they've done a good job. 17 cents to 60 cents, again, over 250%. The high is 66 cents. When was it? Very recent times, January. So hopefully they're on a roll as well. Fortescue Metals in at number 3. We all know that one. Let's have a look at $1.79 this time last year, up to $6.45, in excess of 250% as well. Great stuff. $6.84 was the high, and it was December 12, so still quite recently, but looking at staying in and around and growing on that $6 range. Let's have a look now at Resolute. Again, a small price, but have kicked on now up over that dollar range, which is good. They were at 35 cents. To $1.60, now in excess of 350%. Up to $2.27 was the high, but it was some time ago, the furthest back of all of them, and that was in September. But let's look for them to get back up over the $2 if they want to kick on from there. And finally, we've got Whitehaven Coal from 41 cents to $2.76, over 500%. Hopefully you've had that all throughout last year and are watching the good times happen. Let's have a look at when the high was for them. It was back in November 8, so they've got a bit of work to do to get back to that. However, a lot of potential because they've grown through so many different ranges of price. Now, here's something interesting. Have a look at our top 5. We've got the words in there of resources, minerals, mining, and coal. What does that say to you about the big gainers and what's starting to happen on the ASX here in Australia as the tide starts to turn away from the traditional banks, which have had good times through the Trump rally, maybe just turning away a wee bit now. But the miners look all making up our top 5, including the coal there at the top, our number 1. Now, who do we look for moving ahead? What about another 100% in 2017? Can any of these guys kick on? Well, we've selected 2 out of our top 10, and here's why. Starting with our number 1, Whitehaven. Well, the fact is they've gained so much. Yes, they've got a lot of work to do. Could they possibly go another 100%? Well, it's not like their share price is so high that it might seem impossible, but it's got to move right up over $5. So keep an eye on that as we move forward. And of course, their high was November, so some work to do. And then our number 10 also, and we've picked that as something to keep an eye on because look at when their high was out of that last year. It was last week, so that suggests that they are on the roll in very recent times and could kick on. They've proven it over 1 year. What about doing it again? Well, they would have to go up into the $13 range. But that is our 100% gainers and a couple we've selected to keep an eye on as we move forward throughout this year. So there we go, the 100% gainers year to date. Hopefully you got something out of that, and hopefully you actually had some of those stocks. Good luck to you if you did. Well, there we go. Go to SharePrices.com.au now to see where all of those stocks are at right now. As for now, I'm CJ Dore from the SharePrices.com.au studios with another market insight.